Take it away.
Hey, Michael. I'm up here in America's Evil Top Hat still. I haven't moved down south yet. My dad died today. 78 years old, tongue cancer. He was euthanized through the MAID program. There was a process to graft skin from his arm to make a new tongue, but the wait list was like 6 months long. And my dad started to refuse morphine appointments and called MAID. My whole family okayed it, except for me. It was 4 days between the appointment and the assisted suicide. It's 45 times quicker to kill yourself than to heal yourself here. Okay, that's my rant. My question is really about prayer. In his late years, he apostatized the same time that I kind of started to find faith. And I prayed for him each of these 4 days that I knew he was going to die. But how do you pray for the dead? I've taken mortality for granted my entire life, and I've hit a brick wall. We had unresolved issues, and I have so many questions for him. How would you go about this? Thanks, Michael. God bless.
Really, really sorry to hear of that sad end. One hopes that your father's culpability would be, and the culpability of your family would be somewhat reduced by the fact that the culture is deluding so many people. It's creating such an inducement to kill yourself. As you say, 45 times faster to kill yourself than to heal yourself. And suicide, of course, contrary to natural law, just a grave, grave evil that any government would encourage. So awful. Terribly sorry to hear it. And I can pray for you and your father, and you can pray for your father too. Prayer for the dead is biblical. You see it throughout the Bible, specifically in Maccabees. It's funny, as later on, certain books of the Bible were removed because they contradicted certain doctrines, but the books of the Bible had been in there from the beginning, and so it seems to me the doctrines are pretty sound, one of which is to pray for the dead. Now, I have no idea where your father is. You have no idea where your father is. I don't want to give you some soft soap or wishful thinking, but I can tell you, as James tells us, that the prayers of the righteous are efficacious. And so this is another inducement. I was thinking about this yesterday or the day before. This is another inducement to be good, to try to avoid sinning and to keep yourself close to Christ and to avail yourself of the sacraments is not only because that's what you owe God, and not only because it's good for you, but also it will make your prayers more efficacious. It will draw you closer to God. So you certainly ought to do that. There's a story about St. Padre Pio. I don't know if it's apocryphal or not, that one time he was praying and he was asked who he was praying for. He said, I'm praying for my great-grandfather or something like that. I'm sure I'm getting the story wrong. I said, you can't pray for your great-grandfather. Your great-great-grandfather, died however many years before you were born. And he said, that's how we experience time. That's not how God experiences time. And that part, of course, we know is true for a fact because God is outside of time and space, except when he enters into time and space. Though even then, I guess he's also outside of time and space. So in any case, I would just pray for your father. I say, when I hear someone dies, I say the RIP prayer. Anyone who objects to praying for the dead, ironically, probably has prayed for the dead quite a lot and does pray for the dead, because RIP, if you've ever written or said RIP, that's a prayer for the dead. It's requiescat in pace, may he rest in peace. And the prayer is requiem aeternam dona ei Domine, et lux perpetua luceat ei, requiescat in pace, in nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti, amen. Eternal rest grant unto him, O Lord, and perpetual light shine upon him. May he rest in peace. So that's a good prayer to start with, and then you can just say other prayers. You can just kind of talk to God. It doesn't need to. I like form and liturgy. I think that's good, and it aids in our prayer life. But you can also just talk to him, especially when you're this raw. So very sorry for your loss.